Estelle? I'm Brian. Not driving, then?
My grandson's picking me up, Stephen.
Ah.
He's all I've got left. You've got a son, I remember.
Yes, Robert. He lives in Australia.
Have you done this a lot? Met people on the computer service?
Yes. What I deplore most in life is dishonesty. My name is, in fact, not Brian. It's Roy Courtney.
My name actually isn't Estelle. Betty McLeish.
Hello, Betty. Au revoir, Betty.
Until next time, Roy.
Will you call? Get a string, fellows, please. I'm sorry to hold you up.
How old was she?
Old enough. I have made, quite recently, the acquaintance of certain gentlemen who have £800,000 to invest. They know me as a banker who has guaranteed them a quick doubling of their money if they invest it in the limited partnership.
Which would be us.
They want to see us put some money in. 50,000 from each of us.
Who are they?
Russians.
Got it in one. The money you put in, you'll get back 4 times over the payout. You call. Well, I may have missed a step, but I'm fairly certain that Adolf Hitler was not machine gunned. But young people, they go and see a film like that and they think that's what actually happened.
Oh, no. I taught for 40 years, and this generation are far less likely to believe everything they're told than we were.
Oh, God. That's my knee.
All right now?
When do we get the profit?
1 week's time. I will now transfer our £200,000 into the joint investment account. And all you do now is transfer your funds in the amount of £800,000, and we're tickety-boo.
See all this money you're gonna make? What's Putin's cut? Well, how do we get them back?
We'll have to regain their trust, won't we, Brendan?
Is your knee gone again?
Well, it's been like this for a few days now.
Anyway, it's bloody closed.
And I didn't call it a bloody check.
I bought it today.
Did he give you good terms, you know?
Oh, no, I paid cash.
Good cash.
Okay.
Yes. This has been a feast. Stephen, Roy Courtney.
I thought you were out tonight.
Roy's knee went out on him.
Does Stephen live here with you?
No, he's doing his doctorate at Royal Holloway. He just sleeps over on occasion.
Can I give you a lift?
Stephen, we haven't finished dinner yet.
I should be getting along.
What floor do you live on?
On the top floor.
For God's sake, come and stay with me.
No. Ah.
This is ridiculous. I'm afraid I haven't got round to this room yet. Just make yourself comfy.
Fat chance of that.
It's too soon to be getting so close to him.
Talking about me.
Albert Speer.
Trying to determine whether he was the innocent he claimed to be.
Was it history that you taught in school?
Betty taught at Oxford.
I think he's quite charming.
Betty says wherever you need to go, I'm to take you.
An old friend's got pancreatic cancer, said I'd drop by.
As a gesture of this, we have increased our stake to 100,000 each, doubling it to £400,000.
God said, Brent.
Oh, he's wearing a fucking wire.
Police!
Use the back stairs! Use the back stairs! Stairs! You're under arrest! No!
Thank you, well done.
And? Is he glad to see you?
Of course, I didn't even know I was there. Where is it that you're off to?
Spandau Prison. Spandau was where Albert Speer and the rest of the Nazi war criminals were imprisoned. Seems like you've had quite a past, Roy.
I did serve the war.
Is that how you got the scar?
I did it shaving.
Bye.
Twice that car's come sneaking around. Any grumblings from our investment group?
As far as they know, you and I are in custody.
I want the cut.
How much do you think she's worth?
$500,000, at least. Vincent is my
Investment advisor. It means glorified accountant.
I was hoping you'd let me leave something to you.
If we include the savings, the fund, and the house,
2 million, maybe 800.
doubling of your money in 5 years. So to limit the administrative costs and your tax liability, you could both open a joint portfolio.
You mean combine my money with Roy's? You certainly have given one a lot to think about.
I've grown very fond of you, Betty.
You just opened up to me. Roy!
So Roy's had a doubling of his investment.
Oh my God!
Given the size of your estate, there'd be a windfall every week.
You giving him all your money? This isn't your house.
Stephen, don't. I am very sorry.
What if you gave the windfall to Stephen? Half. 10,000 for Stephen, 10,000 for us. That trip you mentioned, the one you were planning before Alistair died.
Oh, can't have you going on holiday with all these shaggy bits. Alistair and I were planning on going to Berlin.
Betty.
Call my doctor.
Likely had another stroke.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, I've had them before.
You've been taking the pills I prescribed? If you don't, you won't live out the year.
Berlin, eh?
Perfect. I'm going to show you my eye on them for ages. But they're very expensive.
Look, why don't you two go in and treat yourself? And I'll meet you at Fulton's in an hour.
Committed fraud! Give me back my 100,000 quid. I'm gonna break something other than a bloody flower pot!
New raincoat?
Let's go tomorrow.
Why not? Stephen!
You don't know Berlin, but I do.
Dort wo man Bücher verbrennt, verbrennt man auch am Ende Menschen.
True.
You speak German?
I wasn't really listening.
Why don't you go back to the hotel? I think I'm going to go exploring. Tripped on a paving stone. What is this place?
Humour me. The owners allowed us use of this flat.
I accessed his service records. Roy Courtney, Lieutenant, British Army of the Rhine, wounded, Berlin, at this address.
We were in the business of hunting Nazis. Martin Geiger, he'd been administrator at Bergen-Belsen. So I was driven into the Soviet zone by my German translator, Hans Tau. Geiger was staying with a friend, say that we were German police, and wait for him.
Wir sind von der Berliner Polizei.
Ist Martin Geiger zu Hause?
Er arbeitet tagsüber. Wir würden gerne auf Geiger warten. Möchten Sie einen Kaffee? Ja. Geiger. Put the gun down.
Once Taub was killed, Geiger got away.
Martin Geiger was caught 2 weeks later. His confession was very clear.
Roy Courtney, his first shot off. Becoming an Englishman wouldn't be difficult. I'd been teaching the language since I was 14 years old. I could start over. I typed a letter to the Reverend and Mrs. J.L. Courtney on their son Remington. And that as my decision was final, a clean break was the best solution.
But there are plenty of other crimes.
Stephen, I make my own choices.
Obviously, I'm intruding.
You're the only person on this planet who makes me feel that I'm not alone. Let's go home. Let's go forward with the joint account.
I transfer my funds, she transfers hers, and then I suck the money out of the account.
It wouldn't hurt to leave her a bit, though, would it? She's pretty ill.
I don't need you to tell me that she's ill!
You don't want to do this, Roy.
I'll do.
Are you both agreed to the combining of your individual assets?
I am.
I put in everything.
Ooh. I'm all in too.
You need to create a passcode, 6 letters.
What about that?
Oh, diddlies.
Done.
Don't you want to get that? Oh, hadn't you better check your mobile?
It's my son. He's in London. Wants to know would I like to see him tonight.
Oh, you must.
If we go to dinner and it gets late, well, then I might stay over.
Why don't you grab some water for the journey?
I don't have the fucking keypad!
What are you doing here, Roy?
Robert's flight was delayed.
Oh dear, how did you find out?
He called.
Every time you lie, I press this button, and £50,000 leaves our joint account and goes into another account.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You just lost £50,000.
I haven't the slightest idea.
Another 50.
Betty, it's me, Roy. I mean, Hans.
How did Robert let you know his flight was delayed?
Well, he called me. He left a message for me. Oh, for God's sake, I don't know.
You came back for this. Robert didn't call or leave you a message because there is no Robert. You must see it.
Lily's. Lily.
Back then, Friday was my favourite day of the week. Friday was when Hans Taub came to teach me English.
Setz dich. Hans, tanz doch mit Hansi. Hans, nein!
It's pretty, isn't it? This is the look of hair that you gave me.
I suppose I worshipped you.
Do you like me, Hans?
I'm fond of you. Close your eyes.
And then you raped me.
Folge mir bitte.
Dein Unterricht mit Lily ist beendet.
2 days later, my father was arrested. Someone had denounced him as a traitor. He was tried, found guilty, and hanged. The money, the factory, everything was confiscated. It was all too much for my mother, so she committed suicide. Well, we took in boarders. First they paid, but then they couldn't. My sisters were in the kitchen trying to make 3 eggs feed a dozen people, and a bomb struck, killed them all. They'd let me sleep, so I was unharmed. Becoming a very good liar.
How could I calculate these things? I was a child.
You knew exactly what you were doing.
I suppose so. Well, I don't know. Do not do that one more time. I wanted to teach you a lesson.
There it is. First, I needed to study you. Stephen is an absolutely brilliant researcher, which helped me become precisely the kind of naive older woman you like to victimize.
There's nothing to connect me with Tao.
You remember our last day in Berlin when I went exploring? I went back to my family's house. It's a children's charity. Dankeschön. There was no reason to believe I'd find what I was searching for. My silver locket with your hair in it. You see, I already had a sample. But I'd moved all of my money out. Vincent helped me with the very technical bits. Stephen had a word with him before we left for Berlin. Multiple charges of forgery, fraud, and extortion were not the legacy he might want to leave his children. Oh, and by the way, you know Stephen's not my grandson. Oh, you did meet one, actually. Michael. He's very protective of his gran. Stephen's his partner.
Your strokes. That doctor, I suppose all that was a lie too.
Yes, of course. He's a friend of mine.
Why do all this?
Because for 60 years, I've been locked in that room with you. And the only way to free myself was to face you. I'm leaving you this.
Are you going to give me my money?
He's got exactly what you're owed.
Are you going to hand it over?
He can't talk or move much, but he can hear you.
Pretend it's champagne.
You know, any mistakes that I made in Berlin were because I'm so fond of you.
Fond.
Give your mum one first.
Dad, you all right?
Be careful! It's deeper than it looks.
It's all right, Gran.
노련한 두 배우가 그려낸 깊은 원한과 복수, 굿 라이어였습니다.
Betsy,